back to the crazy California left coast. Here is a interesting case. So imagine this. You ever go into a hardware store? It could be Home Depot, Lowe's. It's spring. You're going down the aisle and you see a ton of weed killer. Why? Because on your house, your property, you got a ton of weeds that are growing and you don't feel like getting out there and picking them by hand. So the legal question is, did this weed killer known as Roundup, did it cause non-Hodgkin's type cancer to a particular person? Now, a jury in San Diego just awarded $332 million verdict against Monsanto. Monsanto is owned by Bayer, B-A-Y-E-R, and they're a huge multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. If we go back through all the lawsuits across the U.S., right now, the attorneys for Monsanto are winning. They've won 9 out of the last 12 lawsuits. They had a string, I believe, of 9 in a row, and then they just lost 3 in a row recently. And they lost 3 in a row. And one of the reasons that they're claiming they lost is because that there was a new scientific article after the 9 that now has made a stronger causal connection between the glyphosate in the weed killer and the cause of the cancer. So according to the AP, a California state court jury slammed the giant Monsanto with a $332 million verdict on Tuesday in a lawsuit claiming the popular weed killer Roundup caused cancer. That was October 28th. The San Diego County jury deliberated for 4 days in a trial that began in early October. Let's just say that was a 3-week trial for this amount of evidence. That's a pretty fast trial. They awarded plaintiff Mike Dennis, who claimed, and again, when someone writes the word claim, they're basically putting they don't believe him, but the jury believed him. They awarded Mike Dennis, who developed a form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma at the age of 51 due to exposure to Roundup. They awarded him $7 million in compensatory damages and $325 million in punitive damages. Now, that's a lot of money. There's 2 things to remember in a lawsuit. Can you win? Check. Can you collect? And maybe not. You think Monsanto's going to just hand over $332? No, they're not going to hand over this money. This is actually where another level of negotiation starts, because the Monsanto team is going to say, you know what, the judge screwed up here. The judge admitted the wrong evidence here. He should have kept this evidence out. We're going to go to a court of appeals and we're going to say wrong, wrong, wrong. That's a 7-year endeavor. However, interest is start to accrue, and I believe it's 10%. I have to double check, but 10% interest on that 332. What else is Monsanto going to attack? Monsanto's going to attack the punitive damages. There's a Supreme Court case that infers that punitive damages should be closer to 10 times the compensatory. Monsanto's going to say, well, yeah, the punitive damages should be closer to 70 million, not 325. And again, this is just a fight. I'll keep you updated, and it might be a year before the next video comes out on this. But let's kind of go through. The verdict comes just weeks after a Missouri jury returned a $1.2 million verdict in a Roundup trial. Now you're wondering, how does this go from 332 and then in Missouri they just awarded 1.25? That's definitely something to look at. And a $175 million verdict in Pennsylvania, where video coverage of jury trials is not permitted. All right, so 175 in Pennsylvania, only 1.2 in Missouri. There's a huge discrepancy in California, 332. Wonder what's going on. It's just the geographics? I don't know. Put your thoughts below. These 3, according to AP, these 3 consecutive verdicts make a sharp change of fortunes for plaintiffs after the Bayer-owned Monsanto secured a defense verdict in 10 previous Roundup cases. So I said 9, it's actually 10. That means they went up to the plate in the World Series and hit 10 home runs in a row and had a walk-off home run and beat. Now, that's a hell of a string. That's a hell of a string. These wins put Monsanto on a more aggressive footing with regards to resolving Roundup cases. What does that mean? It means that Monsanto got very confident, saying, shit, we'll take any case to trial, and we're going to get a defense verdict, and we're going to win. According to Adam Peavy, who is the attorney representing Mr. Dennis, and he's of counsel at the Texas-based firm Clark, Love, and Hudson. So of counsel means you're not working with them or for them, but you're giving that firm counsel. Monsanto made 0 settlement offers before or during the trial because Monsanto thought they were going to win. Peavy, the attorney, attributed the win to new scientific studies proving a stronger link, again, a stronger causal link between the ingredients in Roundup, like glyphosate, and the cancer. When I was at the local hardware store because I had a bunch of weeds I had to kill, after reading this article, I started looking for this glyphosate, and guess what? Glyphosate was it was in every weed killer I looked on the shelf. Glyphosate was in there. So now that begs the question, why did they go after Monsanto and not a smaller weed killer producing company? Well, I think because you go where the money is. It's the old saying when you ask the bank robber, hey, why the hell are you robbing banks? Because that's where the money is. Same thing here. Why are you suing Monsanto? Because that's where the money is. And again, not trying to discourage or discredit anybody here, but you might see other lawsuits popping up against other weed killer manufacturers that have the glyphosate in it, and those lawsuits might be settling. Maybe we're just hearing this one against Monsanto because they've dug their heels in the sand and they're not going to play ball or try to settle. The article went on to say, I think the science on causation has taken a dramatic turn in the last year. The science has taken a turn for the worse for them and better for the plaintiffs. The attorney also cited recent decisions by regulatory bodies, that would be government agencies, not to extend glyphosate approval as playing a role in the case. I'm not sure exactly what they meant by that. This happened during a trial, and we got to tell the jury that. So something happened in this trial that something came into evidence and was put before the jury that did not get before the jury in the other trials. Now, what's Monsanto going to say? Well, the spokesman for Monsanto's, of course, saying this is all malarkey and this shouldn't have happened. And of course, they're going to plan to appeal it. Now, here's a quote from Monsanto's lawyers. We respectfully disagree with the jury's adverse verdict. Well, of course, when you lose every verdict's adverse, you think the plaintiffs in all those other 10 verdicts sharply disagreed with the jury's adverse verdict. Continuing, though it found in favor of the company on 2 of the 4 claims and believe that we have a strong argument on appeal to get this unfounded verdict. So again, they're making claims that something happened and they're saying that the verdict was basically they're calling the jury stupid. That's what it's coming down to. They're saying that, based on the evidence, they shouldn't have wrote that. Well, guess what? When you get 12 people in a jury box, you have no idea what's going to happen because, quote, it's a collective consciousness. It's not just one person making a decision. It's everybody having opinions, their life experience, what's going on in their life, their past life. People have knowledge in their head that other people don't. The attorneys went on to state, we have a winning record in the Roundup litigation, having won of the last 9 of the 12 cases. Okay, that's where I got the 9 from. And we have resolved the majority of claims filed in this litigation. So I guess the question is Monsanto settling some of these? We just don't know. Anyway, that begs the question, you answer the question, should a company that makes weed killer that has a chemical in there that may cause cancer, should they be liable for that cancer and the harm caused to that person? So far in the heavy cases, Monsanto's won 10, the plaintiffs have won 3. This might just be a huge shift in the negotiating power going back to the plaintiffs in this type of case. Leave a comment below. Attorney Silva, have a great day. Bye.